Hello, good morning. I am Bea Capel and I'm here at the Batasang Pambansa in Quezon City because today, the 19th Congress opens its first regular session. Ang dami ng jargon opening pa lang, pero i-explain namin yan mamaya-maya ng kasama ko. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will also be delivering his first State of the Nation address later in the day, and we are here to walk you through what's going to be a long news day. But first, let's focus on the opening of Congress. I am joined by my colleague, Rappler reporter Mara Cepeda, all the way live from the Senate in Pasay City. Mara, what can we expect from
Hello.
over there in Pasay?
Hi, good morning, everybody. So you can't really see it, but senators have started to arrive dito sa hallway behind me. It is the opening of the first regular session of the Senate sa 19th Congress. It's going to start at 10 a.m. Same din sa House. So habang naghihintay yung ibang mga senador, nakaschedule na. You can see that room behind me. Nakaschedule na sila to take their 19th Congress portrait. So standard naman yan. So I think it's also going to be used for their official photos sa mga future Senate communications. So pati na rin yung mga pictures nila dun sa mural na nandito sa Senate. Today we expect senators to elect their Senate president. It will be very, very likely to be Juan Miguel Migzubiri, who has already secured a support of more than the majority of the senators. Parang a couple of weeks after the elections, he already has 12, and we needed at least 13 votes to secure the Senate presidency. His closest contender for the post, Senator Cynthia Villar, eventually threw in the towel by June 1 and said that she and the rest of her Mama Bears bloc will also be supporting the Senate presidency of Mig Zubiri, and we're expecting that to be finalized later at the session. And Mig Zubiri has spent the past couple of weeks just, meeting with the different senators, negotiating for their committee chairmanships, and we expect all of these to be finalized later. Sa Senate, for the regards the issue of the minority, they are going to be very, very outnumbered by the so-called supermajority bloc that Mig Zubiri plans to form in the 19th Congress. So far, ang sigurado pa lang nasasali sa minority bloc ng Senado ay si Risa Hontiveros, the lone opposition candidate to win a seat in the Senate in the 2022 elections, and si Senator Aquilino Coco Pimentel III, a veteran, Senator bar top-notcher, and he has, been doing rounds in different media organizations discussing that the minority bloc will, not be obstructionist but will still be very critical. But for Hontiveros, a staunch opposition figure even under the Duterte administration, kailangan regardless of ilan man yung nasa minority, regardless kung sino yung nasa composition, they have to be critical. And that's very, very important. Ngayon nakaantabay tayo kung anong block ang sasalihan ng Cayetano siblings, sina Senator Pia Cayetano and the returning Senator and former House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, because they have been just figuring out which block they could join. They can join the majority block, they can join the minority. Or a couple of days ago, they floated the possibility of being independent, meaning they're neither part of those blocks. But unlike kasi sa House, pagka-independent minority lawmaker ka, wala kang voting power. Sa Senate, iba yung dynamic. So, regardless of the block that they have, makakaboto pa rin naman sila. Ang wala lang sila is significant chairmanship. So, yung mga malalaking committee chairmanships na punta na yon sa mga administration allies. And I think that will also play into the decision of the Cayetano siblings. But they both said a couple of days ago na likely they will be joining the same block. So, magkakasama ang kapatid. But we will see today kung yun ang mangyayari. Very interesting din itong 19th Congress batch of senators because, this is the first time in recent history that the incoming Senate President really is saying na kailangan may supermajority block. Ang depensa naman ni Zubiri, hindi naman ito gagamitin basta-basta i-railroad yung mga bills ni Marcos. Pero, it has developed, the term supermajority block, notorious na kasi yan in political circles, especially under the term of Duterte, kasi sa House may supermajority block. And you know what happened there, di ba, Bea? Lahat ng mga controversial pet bills ni Duterte, from death penalty to for drug convicts to changing the economic provisions of the Constitution, ipinasa ng chamber. So, some political analysts are concerned about that. And worthy to note as well that in this batch of senators, one-fourth of the chamber or 6 out of the 24 senators ay manggagaling lang sa tatlong pamilya, ang mga Villar, ang mga Cayetano, at ang Ejercito Estrada clan. So again, our co-reporters and Rappler have interviewed political analysts who expressed concerns na itong composition na ito, on top of karamihan sa kanila ay kaalyado ni President Marcos, the Senate President, campaigned actively for the president, it might affect the independence of the Senate. Of course, ang assurances naman ng mga senadora, hindi ito mangyayari. But, the next couple of months will be the judge of that. Bea.
Kasi di ba Mara, usually parang yung notion ng mga tao, whether it's correct or wrong, is parang kumbaga si Senate yung true independence na or mas independent na chamber ng Congress.
Yes.
Kasi nga parang 24 republics yung Senate. And anyway, yung observation mo nga, di ba, or what you said earlier na what's unique, I don't know if you take it as a good uniqueness or a bad uniqueness, is that you have relatives, parang kumbaga record-breaking number to ng relatives in the
Yes.
Senate. But to compare siguro, if you're talking about dynasties and legislation, ito naman dito sa Batasang Pambansa, for better or worse, the House of Representatives has always been where dynasties thrive and have prospered. Kumbaga dito, this sounds quite cynical, but it's common to see legislators in effect inheriting positions from their fathers, from their mothers, uncles, grandfathers, grandmothers. So and later we'll see the same very familiar names passing through the red carpet. You can't quite see it behind me. But before I start siguro talking about Congress, no, much has been reported about the security that will be deployed for today, the opening of the 19th Congress and the SONA. So kanina nung papasok kami, wala na akong hindi tayo maka-flash ng video or ng footage ngayon. Pero pagpasok namin dito sa Batasan Road, actually Commonwealth pa lang ang dami ng police na naka-deploy. Tapos pansin din namin sa Batasan Road itself, sobrang dami talagang police, more than the usual. Not to betray my own age, but I've covered State of the Nation. I've covered a sauna of under Duterte as well. Hindi ganito, well, in contrast siguro yung first sauna ni Duterte, of course, ang konti ng police deployed noon. Of course, Duterte was in very, kumbaga honeymoon period talaga yun for the former president, di ba? Even went on stage and interacted with rallies. In contrast, at least 20,000 police have been deployed for this one, na nagka-issue pa na hindi sila allowed at all in Commonwealth. But of course, si Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte later said na pwede sila hanggang Tandang Sora. Pero ang layo pa rin nun, dito sa batas ng pambansa sa mga hindi familiar sa geography ng Commonwealth. But anyway, so speaking of House leadership, dito naman sa House of Representatives, they will also be selecting their leaders later on. But more or less, expect Representative Martin Romualdez, the cousin of President Marcos and the co-campaign manager of Vice President Sara Duterte in the 2022 election, to be elected the House leader later. In contrast, Mara, kasi di ba parang weeks ago pa, or mga di man months, pero weeks ago pa, determined na yung committee membership, di ba, ng Senate.
Madali lang kasi dito, 24 lang sila dito eh.
Oo. Parang in contrast, Representative Romualdez has been rather mum about who will be holding key leadership positions here in the House. But we'll find out much later, in an hour or two, kung sino ba yung magiging key leaders in the House of Representatives. Maybe we can explain later on bakit important to. Or siguro ngayon na lang, quickly lang. Important to know sino yung, especially majority, kung sino yung majority, kasi siya rin yung House Rules Committee chief at siya magde-decide kung ano yung legislation o usad, ano yung nakatenga na lang forever sa committee level, things like that. I'm sure you'll be reading about that in other reports later on, Raptor. But na-mention ka ni Mala kanina, di ba, yung supermajority na sinasabi natin sa Congress. So parang unang, or at least in recent years, siguro sobrang striking siya under Duterte nga, na hindi na majority, supermajority. And by that we mean an overwhelming talaga number of Congress legislators as either they're part of the party that the president is part of also, or they're allied with the party. Yung interesting dito, no, yung emerging na, or the party that we expect to dominate the House won't really dominate as in other congresses, if that makes sense. So kumbaga dati, di ba, si Mara, there are reporters who's covered the Congress the longest among the roster of reporters right now. Di ba parang before SONA pa lang or before Congress opens, nagsisilipatan na lahat. In
Yes.
2010, majority moved to LP, nag-yellow na sila, and then in 2016, most joined PDP Laban. But in contrast, lahat CMD, that's the party that Martin Romualdez belongs to, the party that Sara Duterte belongs to, the party that Bongo Marcos does not belong to but is allied with, sila yung expected na dominant party. Pero yung membership nila as of last week, parang nasa 60 pa lang. Which is not the usual. Normally, parang umaabot na yun ng 100, close to 200 na yung membership. So, we expect to see a coalition of sorts, siguro a reflection of the unity coalition that was forged during the 2022 elections, the campaign. So, you have Laka-CMD, you'll have PDP Laban, the former ruling party, is also not part of the original coalition, but endorsed the unity coalition. So that's what we'll see. Yeah, you have NUP and other parties like that, the usual. So that's what's happening here in the House of Representatives. Also to highlight yung dynasties in the House, siguro yung pinaka-glaring na dynasty dito would be, of course, the family of the president. His eldest son, Representative Sandro Marcos, the newly legislator, will be part of the 19th Congress. Nagkatito niya ang magiging executive na House Speaker. So you have that dynamic going on there. Siguro, although I know we're focusing on the 19th Congress muna, but let me touch quickly on what we expect from Sona later on. Hindi pa, wala pa akong sinabi malakanyang na malinaw about the Sona President Marcos. Parang last we said, parang up until Sunday morning daw, parang, Monday morning, finalize pa President Marcos ng Sona niya. But siguro yung indication of what we'll be talking about or what the administration will be prioritizing, clear indication dito yung first 3 cabinet meetings. Siguro top talaga dito is food security. Of course, President Marcos himself is the Agriculture Secretary of the Philippines right now. Yung pagbalik sa face-to-face classes rather, and that's spearheaded by Vice President Sara Duterte. And finally, yung economic plan. Kasi parang kumbaga, preview pa lang yung binibigay ni Secretary Joc, no? Kung ano ba ang parang kumbaga detailed economic plan ni President Marcos or ng Marcos administration. And we expect to hear that in detail during today's SONA. So we still don't have any idea kung ilang pages yung SONA, ano yung running time na expected natin. But we do expect the President to arrive here at around 4. Naalala ko kanina yung covered Congress longer than most of us currently in the repertorial team. Can you explain to us yung supermajority na to? In the House primarily and now in the Senate, we expect the supermajority again. Bakit ganon? Saka fair ba?
Kasi the term supermajority, the concept of it shouldn't exist in an ideal world because diba, under the system of government of the Philippines, Congress, the executive branch, and the judiciary are supposed to be co-equal branches. So meron tayong system of checks and balances. So ideally, Congress will serve as that body that will constantly check on the president. But naging, peculiarity na in Philippine politics where a majority of lawmakers, usually district and party-less representatives in the House ay kaalyado ng Pangulo para mas maging madali yung pagpapasa nung kanilang mga sorry, I was just checking baka may ambush interview sa likod, yung pagpapasa ng kanilang mga priority measures. And I think this isn't the first time that has happened naman. I mean, even in the recent history, this has happened under the term na maraming mga kaalyado yung Pangulo. Sa term ni Gloria Macapagal Arroyo and the late former President Noynoy Aquino. Pero mas naging apparent kasi siya under Duterte. Explicitly, they were calling themselves supermajority bloc. Hindi lang marami yung tumalon to PDP Laban pero iba't ibang mga political parties nakipag-alyansa sa PDP Laban kaya sila naging supermajority. Tapos literally kakaunti lang talaga mabibilang mo sa kamay yung opposition. And pero mas naging lantaran sa ngayon sa panahon ni Marcos kasi hindi lang sa House yung supermajority block, pero maskin sa Senate. And this is kind of unprecedented because the Senate takes pride in the fact na mas independent chamber siya. And yun na nga, may negative connotation na kasi when you call yourself as supermajority, so parang subservient ka. But you know, if Migsubiri used to be believed, it will not be that case. But everybody knows that kung ano yung pag-act nila sa iba't ibang bills, yun yung magiging tamang judgment if the supermajority isn't subservient to the president or not. And dito sa Senate naman, um, iba kasi yung dynamics, hindi siya number of political parties, but the number of senators actually joining the bloc. So even if the Cayetanos join the minority bloc, outnumbered pa rin sila, magiging it's 4 versus 20. Mas magiging,
Yeah.
sabi nga ni Coco Pimentel, mas magiging sobrang matrabaho yun. Kasi they will have to send representatives to all of the committees. So, ang dami nilang trabaho, ang dami nilang gagawing pag-fiscalize. And in an ideal world, dapat talaga walang supermajority block. And
Yeah.
I think it bears to point out na siguro ito rin yung first time na parehong explicitly ally talaga ng sitting president yung Senate President and the Speaker, or the
Yeah.
soon-to-be Senate President, soon-to-be Speaker. Martin Romualdez is literally the cousin of the President. And Big Zubiri campaigned for Marcos.
Yeah.
So there are really legitimate reasons why critics are concerned about the independence of the chamber. Pero, di ba, ang
Yeah.
challenge ngayon sa mga lawmakers natin is to actually prove everybody wrong, prove all the critics wrong, that if and when they find a problematic pet bill of the president, kaya nila to say, no, Mr. President, these are the problems, and on this bill and or this policy, this
Yeah.
is our counter proposal. And that would be very good for the country if that happens.
Yeah. Naalala ko din, Mara, parang sa last na Senate, di ba, parang bukod sa pushing legislation or parang criticizing, fiscalizing, kumbaga, budget or whatever, pero yung parang critiquing and being critical about key legislation being passed. I think one factor also that the former Senate President Vito Soto took pride in is defending the independence of the Senate, not just in terms of legislation, but in terms of kunwari yung mga issues concerning the opposition
Yes.
senators then, di ba? So isa din yun.
Yeah, like si Trillanes, for example, the reason why he wasn't arrested kahit ni-revoke ni Duterte yung kanyang amnesty ay dahil pinotektahan siya, hindi lang ng mga minority senator, opposition senators, but even the majority senators Kasi if hindi inayos ni Trillanes yung kanyang relationships then with his co-senators, papapasukin yung mga magsiserve sana. Of course, the situation is different with detained opposition Senator Laila de Lima. You can read more about her analysis, bakit ganon. But yun na nga, and under Soto, for example, in the latter part of the 80th Congress, nakapag, they went all the way to the Supreme Court to ask the justices to actually draw the line hanggang saan ba yung powers ng Pangulo pagdating sa mga treaties. And this is in relation to the withdrawal sa International Criminal Court saka sa VSA, Visiting Forces Agreement with the United States. And that is kind of a political risk for senators, especially those who are allied with the president who was as popular as Duterte. So we don't know if senators for now will be able to do that.
Yeah. And just to touch on what if for a younger viewer siguro, a long time ago, kunwari under the late President Benigno Aquino, it was a struggle to pass the RH bill, for instance, even if hindi pa masyadong uso yung buzzword na supermajority nun, but in effect, he did have a supermajority in the House of Representatives. But I'm sure the older people, older viewers will remember how much of a struggle that was for the House leadership then and Malacanang then to push for that legislation. And siguro also on top of that, the discussion of the supermajority, hindi mo maiwasan yung concern na sino ba yung totoong minority? I think yung issue, it was also an issue in the past Congress under the Congress under Duterte, yung parang totoong majority ba yan? I think Representative Lagman has promised na magkakaroon ng true opposition in the 19th Congress, kung independent bloc na naman to. Yun nga lang, wala ka yun the perks or the privileges of being officially in the minority, membership in committees. So yun lang din yung issue no, na bukod sa may supermajority ka nga, parang the concern doesn't end there. Your concern is also connected to, like, is there actually a block or a group of legislators who will challenge in earnest, right? Yung mga pinupush na legislation or pinupush na kung ano bang agenda in Congress. So that's also something that we're gonna make sure to focus on. So medyo matagal na tayo nag-uusap dito. Mara, as a Filipino and as a journalist, like what are the things that you're personally seen and observing in the Senate and even in the 19th Congress in general?
No, I want to see again how the lawmakers, both in the Senate and the House, will be able to assert their independence. Kasi ang challenge talaga sa kanila when Marcos won, di ba? Kaya daw kasi ni Marcos pretty much, everybody, a lot of the politicians from the local up to the national, meaning the senators, di ba? So as a political journalist, I'm really watching out how are they going to assert that independence and really uphold their duty to pass bills, scrutinize the actions of the president, ensure that yung mga magagandang proposals ni President Marcos ay mai-shepherd nila sa Kongreso at yung mga may mga problema ay maisaayos nila ng maayos. And can they stand up to the sitting president? As popular as Marcos, that's 31 million votes.
Yeah, for sure. So, ano na, Mara, bumitaw na tayo kasi baka may mga ambot pa tayo na
All right, okay.
sige
So,
na kayo.
we will be going live later for the State of the Nation address of President Marcos. 3 p.m. ito sa Rappler, and Bea and I will be giving you constant updates about the session that will begin at 10 a.m. Matatapos siguro yung mga session ng House and Senate mga 12 p.m. kasi magpe-prepare na yung mga lawmakers to go to Batasan and wear their second outfit for the sauna or and prepare for whatever they are going to expect the president to say. Please keep following us, Bea and I, kasama namin si Jairo Boliedo and Dwight De Leon sa aming mga pag-report. Our live later will be hosted by our core reporter, Sofia Tumacruz. Once again, I'm Mara Cepeda coming to you live from the Senate at Pasay City.
Bye. Salamat for watching. Bye, guys. Bye, Mara. See you later. Bye-bye.